Not everything you grow in the garden will save you money. There's a lot of reasons to garden, with budget being one of them. So let's break down what's worth growing in the garden and what to skip to stay more budget friendly. Being that I'm the big nerd that I am, I figured this out based on math. And so the math that comes from a couple different sources. So first one is average yield. So yield of a plant will depend on the variety that you're growing in your location and how long your growing season is. So that's one thing to think about. The other one is how much it costs at the grocery store. I live in Central Florida, so I used Walmart. Walmart is typically one of our cheapest ones where I could figure out all the same costs online. And I went with conventionally grown, not organic. So if you are buying organic, it's gonna be even cheaper. But the first one we're gonna start out with is these guys back here. These are tomatoes. The average tomato plant is going to yield you between 10 and 30 pounds. So each one of these plants should get you in that range. Now, the price of tomatoes, and I had to take an average because tomatoes come in so many different varieties, right? There's cherry, there's grape, there's fancy cherries, there's Romas, there's beefsteaks, there's vine ripe, there's like a ton, right? So I took an average and it's about $2.55 a pound. So per bed, we're going to assume that you can grow an entire bed. That's an 8x4 foot bed using 1 square foot spacing, which is kind of goes along with square foot gardening, that you can grow 32 plants. So that would equal anywhere from 320 to 960 pounds of fruit based on the yield. But you have to incorporate cost, right? There is a cost to growing food. And a lot of it has to do with the initial setup. So I based this on a video that I did, I think about a year ago, where I calculated all the different costs. I did go back and make sure that, those costs have stayed the same, or I adjusted them for inflation. But one of the things I went with is a raised garden bed. It was one of the more expensive ones, so I kind of wanted to lean into a more conservative view here in terms of the calculation. So from a raised bed, this one right here I get on Amazon. I highly recommend it. I've had really good use with it. I've used it in my garden for years and it has held up very well. It was about $49.99 the last time I checked, which was about a week ago. So a raised bed, you need 18 bags of soil, you need mulch, you need fertilizer, and then you need seeds. I went with MI Gardener seeds because they are inexpensive. They're $2 a pack, plus you get free shipping if you buy over a certain number of seeds. So that whole grand total of cost comes out to $221 per bed. So of our tomatoes, if they're $2.55 a pound, and you can get 320 pounds in one single bed, take off the $221 we used to build this bed, and you make out with a savings of around $600. So you are definitely saving money by growing your own tomatoes. Peppers, these guys are right back here. These are another really good money saving crop. So peppers will yield about 5 to 10 peppers per plant. So not necessarily by pounds, but good thing is they actually sell them by pepper in the grocery store, and they usually sell for $1.48 to $1.72. The more expensive one tends to be the hot peppers that are a little more unique, right? If you're buying cayennes or habaneros or serranos or something very unique, but a typical bell pepper, the green ones are cheaper than the red, orange, and yellow ones, but that's the typical range. So at that rate, 5 to 10 peppers per plant, you can get 160 to 960 peppers from one bed if you plant them 1 square foot apart in an 8x4 foot bed. So that total cost for growing that is $236 to $1,420. So we have to minus off our $220 of building the garden. So you could, if you had a poor yield, you could basically break even or make $10. But if you had a really good yield, or if you're growing very expensive ones, like the hot peppers, you are definitely saving a tremendous amount of money by growing your own peppers. Now this next one I almost didn't include. And if it wasn't for what I've learned this year, I just put out a video about green beans and how to get higher productivities from your green beans. If I had not stumbled across this little magic mystery, I probably wouldn't have put it on the list because I've never gotten really good yields off my green beans. But let's talk about green beans. So green beans, can give you between 1 and 2 pounds of green beans in each plant. Here's the thing I learned. There are plants that give you way more. And that example is right here. Do you guys see these? Do you see all of these green beans that are just hanging off this trellis? That's because I'm growing a pole variety or a vining variety. When you grow bush beans, you're gonna probably average 1/2 pound to 1 pound of green beans per plant, but when you're growing these pole varieties, I'm averaging a lot more than just the 2 pounds of green beans. There's 9 plants here, and I have a feeling, I'm not 100% sure yet, I almost have a feeling that we might get a full year's supply of green beans off of just these 9 plants. That's wild. Okay, let's talk costs. Green beans are $1.82. There's a bee that doesn't like me right now. They are $1.82 a pound at the grocery store, and let's just use the conservative estimate of 1 to 2 pounds per plant. That's 128 to 256 pounds that you can generate. Based on the cost, that's $232 to $465 minus our $221 in creating the bed and setting it up. You're right on the borderline, kind of like peppers. So if you don't get a really good harvest, you're probably not going to be making a ton of money. You might be making a wash, but you are also getting it organically. But the other thing is that just like the peppers, if you do find a good variety that produces well for you, or maybe you get into these vining varieties, you can definitely call this one a money-saving crop. Now this next one's probably going to be a little bit of a surprise, but it's sweet potatoes. And I really want to be specific here that it's not necessarily sweet potatoes. It's something that grows in your area super well. And so in my area, sweet potatoes grow very well. Now, sweet potatoes are very, very cheap. They're $1.18 per pound where I live. And one plant is going to give you between 3 and 5 pounds of sweet potatoes. In a traditional bed, this means you're going to get 96 to 160 pounds of sweet potatoes if you grew them in an entire bed. Now, the cost savings for that after you deduct the $221 is actually at a deficit. So why has this made my list? Okay, let me explain. So in my area, sweet potatoes grow so easy. We have a long season, it's super hot, you don't need good soil, you like sandy soil. That's perfect for our area. So yes, it does cost a little bit more to get them started, but here's where the savings occurs. Maybe you don't get a savings on the very first season, right? Maybe it takes longer. So for me, I have been growing all of my sweet potatoes from one sweet potato, $1.18 sweet potato that I bought at the grocery store 5 years ago. I bought that potato 5 years ago. I created slips from it. It created 20 or 30 slips. I grew my entire season. I saved the potatoes from that season, created slips from those potatoes, and it has been going on and on and on and on for 5 years. And I don't see any stopping it at this point. That $1.18 potato plus the investment into my garden, the $221, has supplied my family with 5 years of sweet potatoes, which we eat like regular potatoes. We eat a substantial amount of sweet potatoes. And it's just gonna keep going. Every time I get a harvest, I save the potatoes and then I make slips and then I have another round. So it's not something that I have to continually buy seeds. I don't have to add fertilizer. In fact, I don't even need those 18 bags of soil because sweet potatoes will grow in our native sand here and do quite well and enrich the soil. So in a lot of ways, you have to think outside the box sometimes that some vegetables do make sense even though they're cheaper in the grocery store. Now we can't talk about saving money without talking about herbs because they are #1 best saving money crop to grow in the garden. So herbs, typically just 1 square foot will give you 1 pound of herbs a year. They cost $3.55 an ounce. You guys, an ounce, not even a pound, an ounce, $3.55. So that means that the total cost, if you grew an entire bed of herbs, whether that's in a green stalk like a vertical planter here, or in an 8 by 4 foot bed, it's gonna cost you $1,817, so $1,817 to buy that much herbs in the grocery store. That's wild. It is insane. They charge by the ounce. Okay, so these are definitely most cost effective. If you can start them from seeds and get them like at MI Gardener or Dollar Tree seeds or whatever, you could get them for very cheap. But some plants, especially herbs, some of the herbs are very hard to start from seeds. So this is an instance where you might want to buy them from baby plants or starts. which will cost a little bit more. They're ranging anywhere from $3 if you can find them in a 6-pack all the way up to like $15. But here's the benefit. If you are buying herbs that are perennial, which I really strongly encourage you to only buy starts if they're perennials, and they will grow and produce their 1 pound a year, and they will keep growing year after year after year. It's kind of like the sweet potato example, because these have been growing. This oregano right here has been growing in my garden before I moved here, 6-7 years. I'm not 100% sure how old it is, but we've never bought oregano. We don't even buy our seasoning blend from the dried stuff at the store. We make our own. And whenever this guy starts to look not too shabby, because right now it's looking a little bit old, I take a cutting and I make a whole nother plant out of it and restart its life cycle. So you can see how these plants, even if they cost a little bit more to start, over a longer period of time, they are saving you an incredible amount of money. Now that we've talked about the ones that you should definitely be growing in your garden, let's talk about the ones that maybe don't make sense. The first one we're going to start out with is potatoes. So let me just preface here, it's just like the sweet potatoes, right? Sweet potatoes don't necessarily make sense for most people to buy, especially if they live in a northern state where it doesn't stay warm enough and they don't have the sandy soil and they have to add all amendments and not a long enough season. Like, I could go on and on, right? But it fits in my area. Well, one that doesn't fit in my area is potatoes. But say you live in Idaho or somewhere up north where potatoes thrive. Maybe it makes sense to grow your own. Down here, not so much. We have such a short growing season and potatoes are cheap. So let's talk about it, right? Potatoes, you can get about 3 to 5 pounds per plant. At the grocery store, they sell for 98 cents a pound. So a bed this size exactly, it can get me between 96 or 160 pounds. That means that would save, or that would cost me at the grocery store, $94 to $156. It doesn't even cover the cost of the bed of $221. To make this bed and create it, it cost me money to grow these potatoes. So it doesn't make sense where I live to grow potatoes. The next one on our list to maybe skip when growing in your garden, if you're trying to stay within a budget, is going to be carrots. So every carrot seed produces 1 carrot. So if you can grow enough carrots in 1 square foot, you can average about 1 to 2 pounds of carrots per square feet. So if we have an entire bed of carrots, 32 square feet of carrots, you're looking at growing 32 to 64 pounds of carrot. And in the grocery store, they cost $1.26 per pound. That's $40 to $80, guys. It doesn't cover the cost of bed. It doesn't, I mean, it doesn't make sense. If you're growing more inexpensively, maybe you're not growing in a bed, maybe you're growing in ground, maybe you grow in an environment that has beautiful soil for carrots. I do not. It doesn't always make sense. Do I love growing carrots? Absolutely. One of my favorite crops to grow. I love it. They taste so much better than the carrots in the grocery store. But does it equal a financial savings? No, it does not. In fact, I think, this one's the worst. This is the worst return on investment, is carrots. Right behind me here, I have some cabbages, and I'm actually a little bit shocked that this one is starting to head up. It's May here in Florida, and they should not be growing. I don't know what's up with these. I think they're just getting a lot of shade. Right now it's a little bit full sun, but the sun is moving through the sky. I don't know why these guys are still alive. They should be eaten alive by bugs. They should be wilting. They should be bolting. They should not be alive. These are a winter crop for us, but for some reason they're growing. I don't know. But let's talk about the numbers here. A cabbage grown in the garden will give you between 1 and 3 pounds per cabbage. Each one of them needs 1 square foot in an 8 by 4 foot bed. In the grocery store, they cost 96 cents a pound. So based on the size of the growing area, you can grow between 32 and 96 pounds of cabbage. That equals $30 to $92. So if you get the best harvest of your life on cabbage, you're still $120 short of paying for the bed and the soil and everything else. If you grow them in the ground, that will help. If you don't use fertilizer and you only use compost, maybe that will help, but still, you're just barely breaking even when it comes to cabbage. I love cabbage. I will continue to grow them because I do have the space. And the thing that some people don't talk about when you talk about budget savings in the garden is that, yes, we paid $221 for this bed to fill it and for the fertilizer and everything that it needs, the mulch. Every single year that I use this bed, the cost of it decreases. I can spread that cost across multiple years. So I've had these beds for 5 years. So that $221 that I spent to get these started, which by the way, 5 years ago was much less expensive, they actually cost even less now per bed, with the only ongoing costs are seeds if you're not saving your own, and fertilizer or compost if you buy that stuff. Now let's talk about celery. Celery is a tough one in my area. Celery likes a long, cold growing season, and I don't have a long, cold, wet growing season. That's actually the reverse. In Florida here, we have long, hot, wet seasons. In our winters, which is the time that we grow celery, it's dry. It is our drought season. So then we're having to push a lot of water. So let's talk about cost. A celery bunch or one single plant is going to cost you $1.88 in the grocery store. In a 32 square foot bed, you can grow them 1 square foot apart. So that is 32 plants that you can grow. That means that it would cost you $60, not including the cost of the bed, the cost of the water to water these things, the seeds, the soil, the fertilizer, which they're nitrogen loving, so they want some fertilizer. Guys, it just doesn't make sense. Once again, if you live in an area that has all the right conditions and you can grow in ground, maybe it does. But here where I live, celery's off the list. Next one on our list is going to be corn. This beautiful patch of corn right here that I am completely obsessed with doesn't always make sense to grow yourself. So corn, a typical corn plant is going to give you between 1 and 2 ears, and let's just be honest, it's typically 1 unless you have like super fertile soil. At the grocery store, an ear of corn costs 75 cents. So in a 8 by 4 foot bed, based on the spacing, because you can go a little bit tighter with corn, you can grow between 128 to 256 cobs of corn. That equals a cost of $96 to $192. The cost of the bed is $221. We cannot make up on corn. Now the reason why corn is like one of my #1 doesn't make sense to grow, especially if it's sweet corn. If we're talking dent corn or popcorn or something else like that, maybe a little bit more reasonable. But when it comes to sweet corn, the requirements are so heavy, right? These guys are just fertilizer hogs. On top of that, they have a lot of pest issues with like earwigs and bugs. They have pollination issues. They have failure rates with the germination. Like they just are highly problematic plants for a backyard gardener. You have to grow them in a certain area in a square so that they pollinate properly. This is not a beginner plant, and honestly, like I've been growing for 10 years now, and corn is not like the easiest crop for me to grow. I have found ways to be more successful with corn, but in terms of a financial improvement, like I can't say for sure that corn makes the list of something that's going to save you money. It makes a lot more sense to buy your corn fresh or to get it canned or frozen. I know, but trust me, this is where it's at. If you happen to live in Florida and you want to learn about growing all of the vegetables I just mentioned, make sure to pick up my Homegrown Florida Gardening Guide book. It's an ebook on my website, homegrownfloridagarden.com, and it has a chapter, 30 chapters, one for every single vegetable that grows in the garden here in Florida, and how to grow it, planting depths, pest and disease management, my favorite varieties, how many you need to grow a year's worth of food, everything you ever wanted to know, including container gardening. So make sure to pick up your copy today. Happy gardening, guys.